So what is a homestead? The answer might surprise you. Stick around to find out. So the traditional definition of a homestead that we all know is kind of a romantic notion, and that is coming out from the east and coming out to the west and finding a spot and starting to work the land and building a cabin and then having the government give you the property. That's kind of a traditional what a homestead originally was. But like all things, those definitions change over time. And here are a few kind of the new definitions I like to say of what people might consider a homestead. Well, you still have, some real rural living where maybe you're living off the grid. Maybe you have a homestead that's 100 acres and you're trying to pretty much be self-sufficient and have everything you need right on your homestead. And it might be off-grid, might have no electricity, maybe even no running water, or using an outhouse. I mean, these are some of the things that come into people's minds when they hear homesteading. But things have changed a lot. There are still people like that. There are still homesteads like that. There's still homesteads. But we also have a couple other groups. One is the rural homesteaders, and these are super common right now. And what a lot of people are in North Idaho and Eastern Washington, the areas that I serve. And those are anywhere from 2 to 10 acres. They could be classified as a mini farm. They might be really into growing their own produce, growing vegetables, fruits, berries, all that stuff, trying to grow as much of that as they can. They might be into some small livestock, maybe have goats or even maybe a milk cow, and have chickens and eggs and all that stuff. It's kind of a definition of more of a rural homestead. But nowadays we also have urban homesteaders, and urban homesteaders, now that's what I am personally doing right now. As I'm getting older, I'm moving into a smaller spot. Now I consider myself an urban homesteader, and what that means is that could be someone who's living in a neighborhood and they might have a 1/4 acre and they're doing their most to get their property primed so it's producing a good amount of produce. You can produce a ton of produce. You can on that small of a lot. Like for myself personally, I have like 1/3 of an acre. I have multiple raised bed gardens. I have fruit trees. I have tons of berry bushes. It's like there's a lot of room if you use your land well, and that's kind of urban homesteading is another thing that's becoming really popular. Also, there are even luxury homesteads, and I heard this, I'm like, a luxury homestead. Well, you might want a luxury homestead, Some of the examples are places that are in maybe a little higher end areas or even more, rural areas that have a very nice home, very nice finishes. It's kind of a really nice place, kind of an upper end place but they also have these gorgeous manicured raised beds, and they have a chicken palace, and they have a big shop, and it's a luxury homestead. And that's, once again, all of these are homesteads, and whether you believe it or not, or whether you want to call them homesteads or not, they are what they are. The definition of a homestead has changed greatly over the last few years. I just think that whatever you do, wherever you're at, it's important to continue on the ways of the homestead. And for me, it's to teach my grandkids. My grandkids are out in my garden with me all the time. Thinning carrots, they're harvesting potatoes, they're planting seeds. They're out there with me learning these skills. And that's part of, I feel, our duty is to pass down skills. Now, I've heard this, a lot of people in this community, I've heard them say that they were born in the wrong time. And I think to myself, you were born in the wrong time. And what I think is, no, you were not born in the wrong time. You were born in this time. And your job is to pass down the old ways. So that's kind of, in a summary, that's kind of how I feel about homesteading in general. You know, whether you're just on an apartment and you have some veggies on your patio and you're doing the best you can, or whether you have a bunch of acreage and you're trying to be completely self-sufficient, which is a complete myth, by the way. I'll do a video on that some other time. Regardless of where you're at in your homesteading journey, we need to support each other. So that's kind of, I guess, what this whole "what is a homestead" video is about, is so that we don't pigeonhole people into you're a homesteader, you're not a homesteader. I think we all just need to help each other out. That's what my goal is. That's my passion. I used to do everything real estate. Now I'm focused exclusively on people who are trying to live that urban homestead, you know, mini farm lifestyle. And it's very important to me to make sure that you get into a property that fits you and it fits what your goals are. Because when you start looking for property for your homestead, whether it's a small urban one or a large one, there's a lot of factors. There's not only the climate, there's microclimates, there's sun exposure, there's the slope of the land. There's so many different factors. There's availability of water. I can keep going on. There's so many factors that go into whether this place is going to work out for you. It's very important to make sure that you make the right choices. So the new definition of a homestead, it's pretty much what you make it. And I think that it's really important for us to support each other as homesteaders. And I think that's it for this one. Thanks for watching this video. I really do appreciate you taking the time out of your day to watch these videos. Stay tuned for a lot more. And if you wouldn't mind, what does the kids say? Smash that like button and subscribe to my channel. I would appreciate it. Let me know if I can help you with anything. Let me know if you want a video on a certain subject. I'd love to help you with it. And God bless you guys and have a great day.